All right, guys, in this video, we're going to be covering VSLs and how to build more trust with your followers and with your potential customers. And one way to do that is by using a VSL. These are absolutely amazing for building trust, for giving free value away, and all of those types of things. Because the more we think about it, if we really dissect it right, when somebody comes to our profile, they click our ad, any of that stuff, a lot of those people, this is the first time they've ever seen us. And so yes, our content should be doing a lot of the heavy lifting as we've discussed and giving away free value and teaching things. But another thing that we can add is by giving away a freebie and something like a VSL. So this is almost kind of can act like a lead magnet, but it can also provide insane value. But there's tips and tricks to producing a VSL the right way. And a lot of people go about VSLs and they don't create really good VSLs. Sometimes they're okay. And so the idea behind a VSL is, and if you don't know what a VSL is, it's a video sales letter. And so this is usually around a 2 to 5 minute video. 5 minutes is usually where I like it. That's kind of the sweet spot. Some people will go all the way up to 10 minutes. Past that, once we get to the 20-minute range or 30-minute range, that's when we're getting more into like a webinar. And so we kind of want to steer away from webinars because they're a little bit longer. People's attention spans aren't quite what they used to be because of social media. And so I've found that the shorter, usually the better. And that 2 to 5 minute range is perfect for a VSL. So essentially what a VSL is going to do is, the idea behind it is to be able to give away free value and teach and educate our potential customers on what it is that we offer, what it is that we do, how we're different. And the way that I like to think about framing and building a VSL is we want to give away almost the wow factor and leave the how and the implementation. So we're going to give away the wow and we're going to sell the how and the implementation later. So as the VSL is going on, we want people to have like little light bulb moments going off in their head, like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that's how that works. You know, like, oh, they're learning something new. It almost feels like, should I be paying for this? You know, if we're getting people to feel like almost as if they should be paying for it, or holy cow, this person just gave me this for free. You know, that's the feeling we want to evoke. And that's why we're going to give them wow moments and we're going to sell the how and the implementation later. And so I put together kind of just a rough guide and a rough checklist of what we can look for when it comes to building a VSL, especially a high converting VSL, which is what we're going for, right? And now when I talk about high converting, ultimately we want that VSL to do a lot of the heavy lifting for us, because if somebody needs to be pushed over the edge, maybe they need more information, they need to see something, or we need help building trust, and they watch this VSL and they're like, you know what, I need to book a call. That's where we're going to get conversions from. And so we want to build a high converting VSL. So step number 1 is going to be to grab attention first, instantly. Within the first 5 to 10 seconds, we need to grab their attention. And the way that we're going to do this is by using relatable pain points. So as we've talked about in the DMs, once we've hooked them, we're trying to uncover pain points, because pain points are problems that people have that we have the solutions for. And so if we can uncover some of those relatable pain points, or, you know, maybe even make a bold promise as to why we're different or what we do that most people don't. We promise that you're going to get this, this, and this. And if you can make those promises, do it. I usually steer clear of like guarantees or promises unless you really do have a clear guarantee, like you know it's going to produce X result. Those are totally fine. But if you're not confident in that, we don't ever want to mislead or misguide people. So usually a relatable pain point will work. An example of this would be, I'm going to use my fitness business as an example throughout this VSL, and at the end I'm going to show you one of my VSLs that I've built that's done really, really well and booked a bunch of calls. So an example of this would be like, are you struggling to lose weight no matter what you try? Here's why it's not your fault. And because a lot of people, when it comes to losing weight, so we just think about this, and think about this for your business as I'm talking. When it comes to losing weight, most people feel like, I've tried everything, I've tried every diet, nothing works, I've tried going to the gym and I just don't get the results I want. Well, how can we overcome that objection? How can we, change their perspective on it? We spin it a little bit differently. And so obviously this is just an example. I use something a little bit different in the VSL I'm going to show you, but kind of keep that in mind. And then step number 2 is going to be show that you get their problem. So you need to speak to their exact situation. You can use phrases like, if you're like most of my clients, you've probably tried X, Y, and Z, and it didn't work. And so you have to show that you understand it. And by showing this, you can even relate with them. Be like, you know what? If you're like most of my clients, you've probably tried this diet and this diet. I mean, I've even tried them myself, and I didn't get good results either. And so all of a sudden, that builds instant trust and credibility with the person, because they're like, oh, you know what? They've tried it and it didn't work. Well, they obviously have the result that I want. So what are they doing that I haven't tried? They must know something I don't know. And so that's where that's going to evoke a little wow moment. Like, oh, okay, like this guy actually must know something. Or this, woman must know something, whoever you are. And so that's step number 2. And this is, like I just said, is going to create instant connection and trust. Step number 3 in the VSL is going to be to share your unique perspective. You need to break their beliefs. You need to introduce a new way to look at their problem. Like the big idea, the big reveal. What are you doing that your competitors aren't doing? And even if you're not doing anything really different, with marketing, we need to spin it as if it is a little bit different. So, for example, for my weight loss stuff, what I teach and what I preach is honestly no different than what 99.9% of coaches do. But I spin it in a little bit of a different way that makes it seem like, oh, this guy has, this is a new thing. This is a new idea. And so my pitch is, I'm going to teach you how my clients are losing 30 plus pounds eating and training however they want. And right there, they're like, losing 30 pounds, eating and training however they want. How does this work? There's no way. And then all of a sudden, that's when I start to introduce macronutrients and, tracking, but living a healthy, balanced lifestyle. And you can eat, X, Y, and Z and still get results. And here's how you do it, because people are like, I've tried keto, I've tried this, I've tried that, and nothing works. And so we need to introduce a new perspective and a new way of doing things. So like, for example, this is just off the top of my head. If you were a lash artist like my girlfriend is, and she's trying to promote her lash business, obviously there's going to be a million estheticians and lash artists here in town. What's going to make her do it different? She could say a unique perspective would be, we would uncover and show that you get their problem first and be like, if you're like most of my clients, you've gone to other lash artists or you've gotten your lashes done before and they just didn't quite fit your eye shape or the retention wasn't quite what you wanted. Well, the approach that I take is much different. And I actually style your lashes according to your eye shape based on X, Y, and Z. And the products that I use are proven and scientifically backed to increase retention rates by 30%. Okay, I just made that up. But, even like adding that percent, like a statistic, people are like, oh, geez, like 30%? Wow, that's a lot. Even just numbers in people's head, if you can equate something to a number and give statistics, you leverage those as well. So that's part number 3. Part number 4 is going to be to build authority and social proof. So this is where you can drop in, I just talked about this, credibility numbers, stats, transformations, share some of your results that you've produced for your other clients or other people, because we want to show them and not just tell them. We don't want to sit there and be like, I've done this and I've done that and look at what no. Look at what my business or service has gotten for other people, and look what we can do for you, because we want to speak to the customer. Here's what we can do for you. And so we can demonstrate that by showing them what we've done for other people, and instantly that's going to build more trust and credibility as well. And then this proves that you're real, and also is going to remove a lot of that skepticism. Like, I don't know, this sounds too good to be true. Like, has he actually done this? Well, if you have, here's, Tony and Sarah and, Aspen have all gotten these results. They're seeing all these other people like, okay, well, this is legit, right? And so that testimonials and leveraging other people that you've gotten results for is going to be vital and so powerful for your business. I can't stress this enough. And so if there's one thing that you need to be getting on your Instagram page, even leveraging in your retargeting ads, and even in the VSL, is your results that you've gotten for other people. So if you're a car detailing business, show the results, show the before and afters. If you're a landscape company, show the before, show the after. Look at how it was before we put in the turf, look at how it is after, and look at this 5 years later, the turf is still in amazing condition versus some of our competitors or other types of turf that you've seen. And these are just off the top of my head. Like, you can do this with every business. And so show, not just tell. And then number 6, make them feel understood and hopeful. So share a short version of your story or client story that they can relate to. Stories are so powerful. So if you have a story that you can tell as to why you started this business, why you got into this, or maybe a situation that happened that they could relate to, it's going to be massive. And so like, even for me, I could be like, and this is just a fake story, obviously. Like, and when I was younger, I was super overweight. I tried doing all of these things, and I was running on the treadmill just like everybody told me, and I was trying to cut back on food, and for some reason the weight just wouldn't come off. And after I kind of discovered this new way of doing things, and I switched up my approach, and I introduced what I had learned from a mentor or from a coach, all of a sudden things started to click and the weight started to fall off. And then within a year or two, I ended up getting a 6-pack, and I was like, you know what? I have to help people. And so, I've decided to start this company. All right. Now that's just a complete example. It's just, I wasn't overweight when I was a kid, but stories evoke emotion, right? And when people hear a story, that's going to be so much more powerful than you just telling them, I did this and I did this and I did this and this, blah, blah, blah. Like, tell them a story as to why you started the company, or something they could relate to, or even share, something personal, because then that's even going to, provoke more trust with your audience. And then number 7 is introduce your offer naturally. We don't want to be hard selling and going over the top and trying to pitch throughout the entire thing. A lot of people get that wrong, and so they try to use a VSL, and they're like, hey, with my program, you're going to get 12 weeks of coaching. I'm going to give you a meal plan. I'm going to build you this. I'm going to build you that. And, you're going to have accountability, and you're going to get this. Or, for example, with my car detailing business, we're going to come in and we're going to use, this polisher and this, spray, and we're going to put this wax coating on your car and work on your rims. Like, no. All for $29.99. Like, we want to avoid that. And what we want is, we want people to almost be like, oh, I need this. And that's why what I'm laying out for you guys is so powerful, because it provokes those emotions for somebody to want to take that next step. You don't really have to do so much selling, because we've already given them the information, built the trust, and made it desirable for them to want it. And so we don't need to hard sell them. And so that's when at the end you can say, like I just said, after you share that story, and that's why I created my 16-week accelerator program, where I've built step by step how you're going to get from A to Z without having to give up the foods and that you love and do crazy amounts of cardio. Okay? And then if you're ready to take action, click the link below and you can book a call with me, and we can, see if we'd be a good fit, or see if I can help you. Something like that. And so then number 8 is going to be overcome doubts and objections. And so obviously right there, I do like transitioning into, after I say something like this, pushing them to just book that call. This is completely optional. Number 8 is to overcome doubts and objections. If you feel like your VSL needs it and you want to add more of this in there, and you know that you get a bunch of frequently asked questions. So think about this too with your business. Obviously, you're going to get a lot of questions, right? And whether that's on the phone, whether that's in person, whether that's before somebody buys, what are your most frequently asked questions that your business is constantly getting hit with? And then we want to address those, because those are a lot of people's concerns. Maybe somebody's a little skeptical. Well, this all sounds great, Tyson. Like, I would love to get a 6-pack in 16 weeks, but what if I just don't have the time to work out, or I don't have the time to make these meals, and blah blah blah? Well, no worries. I totally get that. Especially being a mom, life's super busy, and that's why I've made this program so easy. And you don't have to do insane amounts of workouts, or worry about all getting all this crazy diets put together and buying certain types of food. Like, I'm going to teach you how to leverage what you already have and the lifestyle that you're kind of living, and we're going to make a couple small shifts, and I'm going to point you in the right direction. And then before you know it, it won't feel like you're having to cut time out of your day or make these sacrifices. It will just become a normal thing that blends really well into your everyday life. Like, this is something that I've dealt with a million times, and I know exactly how to solve that problem for you. Okay, something like that. Like, overcome those objections. That was an example, but that's the idea here. And then number 9, like I said, either after this or after this, we need to implement our call to action. Be really clear, be really simple. We don't need to hard sell them. If you're serious about getting in shape and changing your life, go ahead and click that link down below. I have a couple spots open. They fill up super fast, but go ahead and click that link down below, book a call with me, and we'll hop on, see if we'd be a good fit, and see if I could even really help you out. And I look forward to, meeting with you. Whatever, something like that. And that's essentially how the VSL should be structured right there. And then at the end, after you give the CTA, we're going to close it with reassurance. No pressure. If it's a fit, great. If not, you'll still walk away with a clear plan. This is a great little additive if you feel like, you want to add that reassurance. And no pressure. Obviously, there's no pressure. We don't want it to seem like, hey, I mean, that. I guess there's strategies to both sides. Saying no pressure is good because it's like, yeah, hey, people like that. Like a lot of times, like now that I think about it, this is one key point would be a lot of people, if they know that it's a sales call, they're going to be more reluctant or hesitant to hop on. They're like, oh, I'm just getting sold, and I know this, and I'm not in the mood to get sold right now. And so what I like to position, this is one thing that has worked really, really well for me and that I've seen, is I like to position the first 15-minute discovery call more as like, hey, just so you guys know, this is not a sales call. I only am able to take on like 2 to 3 clients a month anyways. And so this is more to see if we'd even be a good fit in working together and if I can help you out. And, if so, then we can, figure that out down the road. And if not, you're still going to walk away with a clear action plan and, some free value. And so positioning it as, hey, you're not going to be sold on this first call, that alleviates so much pressure, and that takes a lot of pressure off of you, and it takes a lot of pressure off of them, because especially if you're new to sales calls and this is your first time doing it and you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm nervous, what do I say? Like, how do I go about this? Position it differently in your mind. Position it as you're genuinely trying to help this person out and qualify them. And so by making it seem like it's almost a little exclusive or you only have a couple spots left is going to make it so much more enticing for that person to be like, okay, I'm not going to be sold, and wait, I'm having the opportunity to hop on this call even when he only has a couple spots, so let's just hear what he has to say. So right when they hop on the call, even like the first discovery call, like, hey, just so you know, I just want you to know before we even get started, like, I'm not going to try to sell you anything today. I just want to even just see really where you're at and make sure that I can help you out and point you in the right direction. And then before you know it, things are going good. All of a sudden the pressure's off, and then people, I have noticed, feel so much more open on those phone calls to just sharing their whole life story, sharing all of their problems that they've gone through and everything, and you're able to build a much stronger connection that feels real and authentic versus somebody feels like they're just being sold and that you don't really care about them and that they're just another number, which is not what we want. So definitely add this in if you'd like. Like, it can be super powerful. You can phrase it in a different way. Obviously, this is just an idea. Now I'm going to show you and give you an example of one of my older VSLs that I ran for a while that got really, really good results and that booked a bunch of calls. And so this is it right here. This is for my fitness program that I sell and that I offer. And this is the VSL. It's how my clients are losing 30 plus pounds in 16 weeks, eating and training however they want. Get your energy, focus, and time back. Now, why did I say it like this? Okay, how my clients are losing 30 plus pounds in 16 weeks. Well, when I thought about the marketing, I'm thinking about, okay, well, people, especially in today's world, obviously want things instantly. They want it quick. They don't want to wait a year. They don't want to wait forever, And so, and a lot of people too are pretty overweight, and most people do have 30 plus pounds to lose. So if I position it as how my clients are losing 30 plus pounds in just 16 weeks, eating and training however they want, I've overcome so many objections in that one headline. Because most people are like, I don't want to follow a diet. Okay, well, you can eat whatever you want. Well, I don't really like working out that much, or I don't like lifting weights specifically every day. Well, boom, overcame that objection, training however you want. And so just in that headline alone, I've overcome multiple objections, and I've also sparked and invoked curiosity through that headline, losing 30 plus pounds in 16 weeks, eating and training however you want. How's that? Let me hear this out, okay? And so you can follow my frameworks. If you need more ideas, you can always reach out to us and ask, or you can use ChatGPT to unlock a bunch more ideas. And then, ChatGPT is not perfect. It's not always going to spit out the best marketing, strategies and things. So go ahead and switch it up, use your own words, ask us, whatever. But I will say headlines matter more than you think in order, to increase click-through rates and conversions and all that stuff. So do take time and think about your headline. Now, you don't have to build a landing page like I've built here. Like, you don't have to go and build this whole website. We just need a video. First things first, we need a video. And so that headline can be right here too, okay? And then, when you go to share it or somebody goes to click on your Instagram profile, you could say, how to lose 30 pounds in 16 weeks, eat and train however you want, the button below to that link, if that's the route you want to go. But anyways, let's jump into it. Let's go ahead and watch this video. I'm just going to sit back while it plays, and we'll talk about it at the end.
I'm going to teach you how my clients are losing 20, 30, and even 40 pounds in just 16 weeks, eating and training however they want. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to give you 3 secret tips that you can start doing right now at home to kickstart your metabolism. Here's our client Aspen, who just lost 20 pounds of fat and gained 5 pounds of muscle in just 16 weeks with us. And our client Alicia, who also lost 23 pounds and is just absolutely crushing it right now. And Kyler, who went from never working out before to leaning down, gaining muscle, and getting a 6-pack in just 16 weeks. And Steve, who also lost 25 pounds with us, he's absolutely crushing it as well.
Again, so uncovering that right in the beginning, you notice I'm sharing those client testimonials and results because it's that powerful. Like almost sometimes the sooner you can put it towards the beginning, the better, because people want to see what you've done. They don't want to hear you talk the whole time. So if they can see that it's worked for other people, they're going to stick around a little bit longer.
And we also have our client Lori, who dropped 31 pounds in just 16 weeks. And not to mention Isaiah as well, who gained over 10 pounds of muscle while chipping away at some extra body fat. The list goes on, but the proof is in the pudding. You too can see results just like these if you're willing to make the effort and show up for yourself. If you're feeling like you've tried absolutely everything and nothing seems to work, or you just don't...
Right there, uncovering pain points. If you feel like you've tried everything and nothing seems to work, because that's how a lot of people are feeling, right? They feel like they're obviously asking for help, or they're interested, or they're watching this video because most of them feel like they've tried so many things and nothing works, and so they're looking for that new thing, and here it is.
Don't know where to start, then you're in the right place. Every successful client that we've ever had started by watching this exact same video. They started with no idea what they should eat. They had no clue what style of training they should follow. They've tried multiple fad diets, but just couldn't stay consistent and weren't seeing results. So where do we start? Step 1 is figuring out exactly how much.
Again, right there, right before that, I was just reiterating more pain points. People have tried multiple fad diets, eating this, and they just still weren't seeing results. And then we're going into it's sounding like this results.
So where do we start? Step 1 is figuring out exactly how much food you should be eating.
So uncover the pain points and then unveil the solution.
Because calories in versus calories out is everything. We also want to make sure that we're eating enough protein and hitting our macros so that we're conserving our muscle mass or even gaining some in the process if that's our goal. So if you don't know what macros are, it's just short for macronutrients, which are the nutrients we need in larger quantities that provide us with energy, which are fats.
Again, right here I'm educating them and teaching them something. Even if they already know it, I'm at least positioning myself as an expert in this field. You need to be confident in what it is that you're selling and what it is that you're doing, and always position yourself as the expert because people are coming to you and asking for your help. So be confident, be the expert, share knowledge, share information, but also keep in mind that there's a fine line to sharing. Give away the wow, sell the how in the implementation. So I'm giving them golden nuggets, light bulb moments. Oh, okay. Oh, so that's how you do that. Oh, you can track your food through here. But I'm not going to go in and explain everything, every piece of it. I'm giving them more of like light bulb moments and then positioning myself as an expert in the field.
Proteins and carbohydrates. So how do we find our macros? There's a couple different tools you can use, but I like to go to tdeecalculator.net and punch in your body metrics, and it's going to give you the number of calories that your body burns each day and the macros you should be hitting as well. It's super nice, really easy. Once we have our macros dialed in, now it's time to put together a plan that we enjoy with foods that we actually like and that we can stick to. So I use the app, it's called MyFitnessPal, to track all my food and make sure I'm hitting my numbers every single day. If you've never used a tool like MyFitnessPal before, it's super easy. You just put in your custom macros that we got from the TDEE calculator, and all you have to do is type in the food that you want to eat, click on it, and punch it in.
So right here, obviously I'm giving away some information that's valuable, right? Like I'm teaching them, hey, here's how you can find your numbers and see how much you should be eating. And then here's even an app to track it. Now, where most people are going to run into problems is they don't know exactly what foods are going to hit those numbers. They don't know how to structure it very well. They're going to have a list of questions if they go and try this on their own, and I know that. And so either way, I've given enough value, but I've also left out enough to where they're going to be like, well, you know, if I just had Tyson's help, this would be easier. Like, I don't really want to have to learn how to do this. Like, yeah, that's great. What if he just did it for me? And so that's the idea behind this.
Once you start putting in your food, you're going to see the number at the top adjusting and telling you how much of each macronutrient you have left to eat for that day. The goal is to get each number to 0 and not go over if possible. You might have to play around with it for a little bit and get used to it, but once you do, it's super easy. I eat Chick-fil-A, breakfast burritos, chocolate waffles, and ice cream every day, along with a bunch of other foods that I...
Again, right there, I'm just adding in some relatability and showing people like, hey, I eat Chick-fil-A, I eat breakfast burritos, waffles, I eat a lot of stuff that I enjoy, and I managed to get a six-pack, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. And so they're like, okay, that just adds more trust, more credibility, more relatability, because again, people buy from people, not from robots, not from, I guess people kind of do buy from AI a little bit nowadays, but you understand the concept.
I absolutely love and enjoy. So now that we have our eating dialed in, deciding which style of training is going to be best to suit you is dependent on your goals and situation. If you're wanting to gain muscle mass, I recommend focusing on a hypertrophy style of training. If you're wanting to tone up, you might want to lean more towards a program that's focused on more volume and muscular endurance. And if you absolutely hate the gym and you...
Right there again, for somebody who doesn't know a lot about fitness, when they hear hypertrophy and a program that's focused more on muscular endurance or this or that, they're like, okay, he's telling me what I should be doing. I don't even know what hypertrophy means. I don't understand muscular endurance. Like, what style of training is that? And so that's where they're like, okay, this guy obviously knows what he's talking about, so I can trust him. Why don't I just get his help? Again, it's just more like light bulb moments, like, oh, okay, yeah, hypertrophy. Oh, muscular endurance. Oh, okay. And then, but they're still needing my help.
You know you're never going to go, and your goal is just to lose some extra pounds. Walking, hiking, or even playing a sport is a great alternative. We want to focus more on consistency more than anything, so that's why I focus so much on building programs that all my clients can stick to in the long term and even make it a lifestyle. That's the goal, right? So now I just want you to take a second and imagine how good it's going to feel looking in the mirror.
So right here, I'm telling almost, I don't know if I'm really telling a story, but I'm evoking emotion in a different way. So instead of storytelling, this is another thing you can do. You can have people... Now I want you to imagine your life after you come to me, after you get my help, when I give you that result. Imagine how good you're going to feel. Imagine getting into your car after it was freshly detailed. You're excited to take your family out or pick up your wife for a date. Or imagine how good you're going to feel after you go and get your lashes done and you wake up, you don't have to put mascara on. Life's just so much easier. Like, paint the picture for people in their heads. Help them see the vision and the value in what it is that you offer. And this is one way to do it.
You're at a completely different person and going out to buy yourself some new clothes because the old ones just don't fit anymore, and finally reaching those goals that you've had for years. And all the compliments from your friends and your family, and now you're the one that those people are asking for advice and look up to. You can become the superhero to your kids or the leader that inspires people around you to level up as well. If this is something you're looking for and you want my help, then let me take all the guesswork out of this for you, and let's put together a custom roadmap for you that's going to give you your best chance.
Right there. Play that again.
Out of this for you, and let's put together up as well. If this is something you're looking for and you want my help, then let me take all the guesswork out of this for you, and let's put together a custom roadmap for you.
So right there, we're positioning the call. So, basically, like, what did I say exactly?
Let me take all the guesswork out of this for you, and let's put together...
If you're ready to make a change, let me take all the guesswork out of this for you, and let's put together a roadmap for you to succeed. And then I'm going to offer that roadmap basically for free on this call, and that's going to evoke them or make them want to click and book that call. So they're like, oh, he's just uncovered all this information. I've learned a bunch of stuff. He's going to build this roadmap out for me. Let's hop on the call. And then what I do on those calls is I ask them a bunch of questions. What have you struggled with? What's going on? Tell me about your situation. Tell me what you've tried. Tell me what hasn't worked. And then I'll be like, okay, well, what are your goals? Where do you want to be? Okay, perfect. Well, let's put together a plan on how to get there. Okay, before we hop off this call, let me grab a couple of your body stats and things if you don't mind. They'll be like, yeah, of course. And I'll grab it and be like, perfect. Well, I'm going to take this and I'm going to present it to my team, and I'm going to see, if we can fit you in. And if we can, then let's go ahead and hop on another call, and I'll share the plan that I put together with you, and we can, get started. Would that be something that you're interested in if you, get accepted? And they're like, yeah, 100%. No, I would love that, please. And I'll be like, okay, what's a good date and time for you? And then we book that second call. And then before you know it, we hop on that second call. I've put together a tiny rough drafted plan, no problem. Share them some tips and tricks of what it's going to look like working with me. And then we sell them and close them. And that's how this flow works, just to give you more ideas.
A custom roadmap for you that's going to give you your best chance at succeeding. Just click the button down below, and that's going to take you to another page where you can book a call with me, and let's go over your goals, and let's just see if we'd be a good fit to work together. Congratulations on taking the first step to building your dream physique using our proven...
Right there, I'm showing them the next steps to take. So I'm telling them the call to action, right? Click the link down below, book a call, and then I'm showing them, I'm literally walking them through real quick what it's gonna look like. So here's what you should do. Go book that call.
Just click the button down below, and that's gonna take you to another page where you can book a call with me, and let's go over your goals, and let's just see if we'd be a good fit to work together. Congratulations on taking the first step to building your dream physique using our proven accelerator system that's gonna help boost your confidence and metabolism and have you feeling better than ever. If that's something you're interested in, then click the link down below, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. If you stuck around this far into the
I just put another CTA in there. Click the link down below again. Just kind of pushing them, just a little nudge to keep pushing that button.
video, thank you, and as promised, here's my 3 tips that are gonna help start boosting your metabolism today. Number 1, this is super simple, but drinking water, especially cold water, before every meal is going to temporarily increase your metabolic rate. This process is known as water-induced.
I've obviously given them plenty of information, everything they needed in order to book the call already. This button's been there the whole time. At any point, they could have booked that call with me. But in case they want to stick around, they feel like they need a little bit more from me, I'm going to give them some more free value.
Thermogenesis. This is where the body uses energy to heat up that water to body temperature. Number 2, a lack of sleep can negatively affect your metabolism and increase your risk of weight gain. I usually aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night to support metabolic health. Poor sleep can disrupt the hormones that regulate appetite and metabolism, leading to increased hunger and reduced energy expenditure. Number 3, the last simple trick to boost your metabolism is going to be to increase the intake of protein. So eating protein-rich foods can temporarily increase your metabolism through a process called the thermic effect of food, which is TEF. TEF refers to energy required to digest, absorb, and process nutrients. Protein has a higher TEF compared to fats and carbs, meaning your body burns more calories digesting protein than anything else. I really hope this information helps you guys out, and if you're serious about this, then let's kick ass together, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Perfect. And then we can end it with another quick call. So that right there is the VSL. That's how we kind of go about it. That's how I've chosen to structure it. I've made multiple VSLs. Some of my other VSLs are a little bit different. I've played around with it. But this type of framework has proven to work amazing and has produced a lot of results. Now, if you have the ability and you want to create a basic landing page, even this right here would work just fine. You don't need any of this stuff below. But at least having like somewhere the headline, video, button to book a call. Now, obviously, something's better than nothing, so even just getting this up on YouTube or Vimeo or a Loom link, anything will work just fine. The reason that this works really well is because obviously in the DMs, if they're asking for more information or we're able to send them this VSL to provide value and trust, well, sometimes people will watch it, maybe they'll respond, maybe they won't, but at least if they don't respond, well, they still have a chance to book a call multiple times throughout, and we don't really even have to push for it. It's just kind of there. You know, it's kind of, oh, they've already reached out to us, we've, built some trust, we send them this, now we build a lot of trust, and then it's just kind of organically push for the call. We didn't have to do it in the DMs. But then in the DMs, if they don't respond, you can hit them up later. Hey, do you have a chance to check out the VSL? I just want to hear your thoughts. Whatever. Follow up with them. You have to follow up, whether that's a couple hours later, the next day. But I wouldn't wait for 48 hours. I would at least do it the next day. Hit them up, ask them what they thought about the VSL, see if they have any more questions. Fine, and then push towards a call. But that's what the VSL looks like. I know this video was kind of long. Thank you guys for sticking around. I hope that this helps. And again, if you have any questions about VSLs or you need help with some ideas or mapping it out a little bit, go ahead, shoot us a message inside Slack, and we'll make sure you get taken care of. And we'll see you guys in the next video.